Okay, so the last part of this video is going to be just an exercise of rhythm. And as you notice on the sheet that I provided, the PDF, it gets harder and harder as you go on. And I really want to take a moment to just kind of break down some of this, and I'm going to put it up here for you guys to see. Now, the first one, number one, the first part of it starts with just 4 beats, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. It would be like this with a metronome. And then number 2 throws in 2 8th notes at the end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and so real quick, number 3, here's what you're gonna do. And really, I want you guys to try to take your time on this. There's no rush with learning this, and make sure that you learn it right. And don't move on with each one of these as they get harder and harder. You really don't want to move on until you learn it right, and until you can feel it naturally, and then move on once you get that down. So number 3, the best way to think of this is that you're going to take out the fourth note, and you're right after the beat hits. I mean, like right after, with the word "and," we're going to have that 8th note being played. So it goes like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2. Now here's a problem that I see a lot of people do is they try to tap their foot and they let their feet tap the 8th notes. So let's try that with number 2. So this is what people do a lot of times. They go 1, 2, 3, 4, and we don't want to do that. We want our foot to stay consistent with number 1 because that's the beat. And sometimes that gets confusing, but basically your foot never drifts faster than the beat. Your foot stays right with the beat. So if our tempo is 70 BPMs, our foot is going to tap at 70 BPMs, and we don't want to do any faster than that with our feet. Now it can be hard to do in the beginning, so what you want to do is you probably want to set the tempo closer to around 50. And really, when you're first learning 8th notes, you want to take off the subdivision. So here's how we're going to do this. So we got the tempo set at 50, which is pretty slow. Start tapping your foot, 2, ready, go. Try to tap it, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then try to do number 2, 2, 3, 4, and 1. See how I didn't bring my 1? I didn't let my foot tap double time. And I know that can be kind of tough to do, but before you move on from number 2 to number 3, you really need to make sure that you slow it down, however slow you have to go, and make sure that your foot keeps going the tempo of the beat. And that whenever you get to 4 and, you don't let your foot do 4 and, your foot only does 4. And then on the upbeat, you're tapping or playing a chord, or however you're practicing this and learning it. On the upbeat, you are playing that extra note, but you're not tapping it with your foot. You're not nodding it with your head. And that's where it can get really tricky. So let's move on to number 3, and here's how you do this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2. So then let's try number 4. So with number 4, we're taking that idea from number 3 and we're expanding on it, and it's going to start on the 2nd beat. So and then it's going to come in on the upbeat of the 2nd beat, and then we're going to go to the 4th beat again and come in on the upbeat of the 4th beat. So it's going to be 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. So this begins to get into the feeling of syncopation, and that's really what all this is and what I'm trying to help you guys with. So number 4 goes like this. It's 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and then let's try number 5. Number 5 is completely syncopated. You're not playing on the downbeat, and it's going to be really weird at first, but I really want you to just try it. And if I put on the metronome and if I show you how this goes, it's going to go like this. So 1, 2, ready, and go. and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and without the beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so now what I'd like to do, I'm going to give you guys just a chord. We're just going to play these to a chord, and just the G chord, or you can pick a note. You can do it with the scale, with different notes of the scales, with the chromatic exercise, however you want to do it. But we're just going to pick a chord, and we're going to I might do 2 downstrokes, I might do a down up, but I'm going to go through each one of these, and what I want you to do is after you do number 1, I want you to hit pause and then go up from 50 to however fast you want to get this. Okay, so I'm going to do number 1, you're going to hit pause, you're going to speed it up a little bit, 3 times perfect, and then you're going to do three times perfect, 7 times in a row, perfect, and then move up the tempo. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to play number 1, you're going to pause it, move up the tempo, move it up, move it up, move it up, however fast. Maybe your goal for this week is 60, but always start with a goal and write it down and keep up with it. And then we're going to do number 2, you're going to hit pause, and then you're going to do the same process, speed it up, speed it up, speed it up. And I would just encourage you, try to have a realistic goal, but really push yourself. Try to get up to maybe 90 BPMs eventually, or maybe 120 or 200, however fast you can go. And then we're going to do number 3. After I play it, you're going to hit pause, and then you're going to speed it up, and we're going to keep this process for each one of these. And then you can go all the way back to number 1, hit pause after I play it, speed it up again, and let this be a daily routine, a daily practice and exercise for you. So let's jump into it. So I'm starting at 50 BPMs, and then I want you guys to speed up from there. So this is number 1. 1, 2 on a G chord. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last time. So it's real important that you hit pause here before you move on. So let's go ahead and move on to number 2, and let's keep it at the same tempo. And hopefully at this point in time, number 1 was pretty easy, so I feel like you might even be able to move on from number 1 to number 2. But after you do number 2, make sure you hit pause and raise up that tempo. So 1, 2, ready, go. 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and so that was 3 times perfect. So you would do that 7 times in a row, and then you would speed it up on 1 BPM, and then do that again, speed it up on 1 BPM, do it again, all the way until you go at least 10 or 15 BPMs faster. So now let's go to number 3, and I really want to encourage you, don't move on until you have number 2 down. Okay, you can't just arrive like that. You have to reformat your muscle memory. You have to start slow and gradually speed up that tempo. So now number 3 goes like this. So 1, 2, ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 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 and 1. So now let's move on to number 4, and make sure before you move on that you hit pause. Speed up the tempo, 10 or 15 BPMs, doing everything that I've taught you up to this point, and then try number 4. So 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 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 hit pause, speed it up gradually by 10 or 15 BPMs, however long you want to take on this. And then the last one, the hardest one, we're going to do the completely syncopated. We are not playing on what's called the downbeat, and it's going to be kind of weird and funky because you're tapping, playing, tapping your foot, playing, tapping your foot, playing. And it should feel kind of weird, but this is the feeling of syncopation. So let's try number 4. 1, 2, ready, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2. Play it on the upbeat. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and... So I hope this helps you guys. Check out the rest of my videos, and I hope you guys have a blessed day.